All right, I have to unleash Alex. Otherwise, like, she's gonna chew through the walls of her enclosure.
So I saw Iron Lung yesterday.
Let's fucking
um
go!
and
Incredible movie.
I I fucking I fucking loved it. And I'm not
It
just
was
saying that
so
as someone who
goddamn
likes
good.
Markiplier. Because let's be so for real. I'm gonna put myself on blast here for a second, and I'm gonna say that while I do love Markiplier, I'm not some kind of like huge Markiplier fan. I've been subscribed to him for a while, but I'm not someone who watches a lot of his content.
Lovingly, you're
I'm one
kind
of
of
the
a
only
fake
people on
fan,
the planet.
honestly.
Yeah, I am kind of a fake fan. I'm like one of the only people on the planet who didn't watch Unis Honest when it was happening, and so like everyone's like, I can't believe you didn't watch
Man.
this. You would have loved this. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So let's be real. This is not me going, oh my God, I love Mark, so I love this movie. Like, this is
Hmm.
genuinely me going, oh my God, I love this movie because I think it's a great movie.
Yeah. What
Uh,
one thing that I saw somebody say somewhere, it was like it was probably like a Reddit screenshot of a tweet or some shit, so who knows where it came from. But somebody said like I think the people who are are viewing it as like it's just a Markiplier movie. Like it's just him acting, and like I think the people who are seeing it that way like can't separate him from the character he's playing. Like
yeah, I can definitely see how that might be a problem.
yeah,
I think I was quite surprised, honestly. Like, I've seen his other stuff for YouTube originals when they
did
were
you
still
did you
doing
see
that.
the heist with Markiplier?
I did not say Heist with Markiplier. I saw Markiplier in space.
What the fuck? I think I just blew
Um,
out my microphone. What the fuck?
but I didn't necessarily doubt his acting ability, but I was pleasantly surprised by how well acted it was.
You did
Like,
see in
I
space with Markiplier at
genuinely,
least, right?
yeah, I did.
Okay,
Um,
good.
but but I was also slightly concerned because even though I'm not a mega fan, I do watch him on YouTube occasionally, right? And I know who he is, and I have this idea of his Markiplier persona, right?
Yeah.
That he is on YouTube. And so I was a little concerned. I was like, oh, I'm going to go in this and I'm not going to be able to see this character. I'm only going to see Markiplier. Um, because in my mind, he is like, the guy. But I was really quite, like, he really did separate, like, his presence from the character Simon in the movie, and I really
Yeah, yeah.
like. I was like, this is not Mark. This is Simon, right?
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
I really felt like that was also a really hard acting role. Like, he has no other actors to play off of really, other than like
Uh-huh.
the voices. He has nothing to hide behind. I mean, it's all close-up shots. It's like, I mean, it is such a hard role, and he just like excelled. I mean, you really felt for him. It was devastating, and he, like,
Mm-hmm.
all of his acting was very believable. And I don't know anything really about the game other than that. Like I said, I follow Markiplier and I remember him talking about it, but I never
I'm
watched
going
him
to make
play it.
you like watch somebody play the game or play it yourself because like it's a quick little experience.
And so I don't actually have any background on the game other than it was like a horror game that Mark was making a movie of. I genuinely do. We've talked about this outside of the podcast, but I have mixed feelings on horror. Like, I like some horror, but I don't like
You
other horror,
do,
and I
and it's
couldn't for a
so
long time.
strange to me.
Yeah, and I couldn't for a long time figure out what exactly that was. And I realized that what I think the kind of horror that I really like generally is what I would call atmospheric horror, which relies heavily on like the unsettling nature of your surroundings and not a lot of jump scares, not a lot of like gore for the sake of gore, right? But like building in like
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
atmosphere, which is what like Silent Hill does. What I would say like Five Nights at Freddy's, excluding the jump scares in the game, but like part of the creepy aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's is that you're in this haunted like Chuck E. Cheese, right? So that's a lot of
Hmm.
the atmosphere. And Iron Lung I think is like a perfect example of the kind of horror that I actually do like, which is atmospheric.
Hmm.
There is a lot of blood in it, but for the most part, the gore is pretty minimal.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
almost no gore is happening
Like,
until like the
okay,
very end of the movie.
so it set the record for most fake blood used, right? And
Right.
honestly, until the later bits of the movie, I was kind of like questioning that. Like, how did they really do that? Because like so far there hasn't been that much blood. Like, God, okay. One of the things I loved about it was that the blood like it wasn't just constantly like spurting blood into the submarine all the time. Like the first time he goes down, yes, by the way, he goes down multiple times, which is wild. Um the first time he goes down, there's just like condensation and like little drips of water from pipes and stuff, and like he's sweating, and like it like drips onto a pipe and it steams and that kind of thing. Like I think there's only like a drop of blood in the first time he goes down. Like,
Yeah, there's a singular drop and it's Gus does a really good job of setting the tone because you're like there's a crack in the submarine, but then it never happens again for like the next like 30 minutes of the movie.
right? Like the movie isn't about, hey, there's a sea of blood and isn't that gross and scary. The movie is about the suspense and not knowing what's out there
Horror
and kind of, yeah, the cosmic
of
horror of
being
the
trapped in
situation.
a submarine. Yeah. Well, and I was also talking, so I went to go see it with my mom, and she hates horror movies. But
Hmm.
we went to go see it, and I was talking about how I love the way that they really captured how claustrophobic the whole situation is with the cinematography. Like, you feel like you're in there with him and
Uh-huh.
that you can't breathe. Like, it is the way that they've shot the whole movie is so close up
God, I was
that
so
there's
impressed with
close-ups
how
on
well they
his
did with all the
face.
different like camera angles and like not making it feel like there was somebody in there with that set trying to move a camera around and it being like awkward and clunky. Like there weren't
Right.
scenes where it felt like, oh, they did this shot because it's hard to get a camera angle that way. Like it did not feel like they were limited by the space and by the set itself. Like, God, they did so
Well, they
good with the
did such
camera
a
work.
great job of, in the moments where we're supposed to feel that it is extremely claustrophobic, making the space feel really small, but
Hmm.
then also making the space feel so foreign. And so there's certain shots where when he finds the computer, which up until this point no one knew existed, right? Including him.
Yeah, it's like behind this weird
That
little like half
area,
wall.
right, feels massive. Like it feels like you're looking down a long hallway.
Right?
Like,
And like it's so
um,
poorly
and you
lit,
know you're
like you wouldn't
not.
even see it. The lighting, God, they did so good with the lighting of making it feel small.
And the light using lighting as a tool of horror and suspense.
Hmm.
So, like the fact that when the power goes out in the submarine at one point, there is no lighting other than the camera. And
Yeah.
that he's like trying to get the camera to stay on, that he wants as many pictures of what's happening to him as possible, right? So it's not just like a I need
That's
light, but it's
interesting.
also
So
like a
I literally only viewed it as this thing gives light. If I keep the button pressed, it'll keep flashing light every so often. I didn't even think about it as like I need to get pictures of what's going on.
well, I think at first it was that when he was in the crawl space, but then later we see him still taping the camera thing down. And I think that's where that comes in, is that not only is
I
he
guess,
going,
yeah.
"Oh crap, I this is my only source of light if the power goes out again," but also I don't want to have to get up from steering this thing. Something is chasing me, right? Um,
I guess, yeah.
and I want if it's me or whatever, I want to because at that point we know that something is chasing him, right?
Sort
Um,
of.
I I mean, something is down there. If it's not chasing him,
Oh,
something
sure.
is down there
Yeah,
eating
something
stuff,
is
right?
down there, but like until like definitely until the end, it doesn't feel like it's actively consistently pursuing him. Like it feels
No,
like
I
there's
think
just
it's
stuff down there that is occasionally bumping into him because it's the only thing that's moving around down here.
yeah, and it doesn't care that there's stuff in the way.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like, like
I
like a real
really
life animal, it's interested in the movement. Like, is this a toy? Is this something to eat?
yeah, I think the way that they built the creature up is really interesting too because what I noticed and my mom didn't even notice this when we were talking about it is to us it looks like a skeleton and teeth and a skull, but what I think is I love this moment, like this theme in the very beginning of the movie where he's taking pictures of it and he says, "Well, I found a skeleton." And he goes back up and they are like, "Oh, you found a skeleton, get a sample of it," right? There's
Hmm.
something alive down there. And then he flashes everybody when he's on the surface as they're doing something to his submarine, adding a claw or whatever. And they you find out that the camera that he's using is radiation and that he it's basically an X-ray, right? So what
I'm
I immediately
so dumb. I
concluded in
didn't
that
even
moment was
consider that.
what I immediately concluded in that moment is what he was taking a picture of was not a skeleton, it was the thing that was alive. Because if you are taking a picture of something that is with an x-ray, even if it's alive, you're not going to see its skin and bones.
Yeah.
You're not going to see its skin and muscle. You're only going to see its skeleton.
I
And
I
so,
I truly was not
especially in
thinking
something
about
that
the appearance of
blurry.
the monster. I like I was just seeing it as like, well, I guess this
But I
thing
think
looks all bony.
it creates. Yeah, well, I was thinking that it probably doesn't look the way that it looks in the pictures
No, yeah, you're
because
totally right. I
we're
I
only
didn't
seeing
even
its
consider that.
skeleton. And I think that that's so cool because it also means that he probably never found a skeleton down there. He only
Yeah.
ever found the monster. And so when he rams into it, he's not ramming into a raw skeleton or a big, like a dead skeleton. He's ramming into the monster head first.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is super fascinating and totally changes the way that like I was thinking about the engagement with the monster. And then I also love when this is huge spoilers. Big spoilers. So if you're like one of those people that like doesn't want the whole movie ruined, like leave. Um when you find out that the monster is using the voice of the people in that like one of the original submarines to communicate with him, I think is so fascinating and fun. And I was thinking about it and like doing an analysis and stuff, right? And I was like, "Oh, is this because is there actually a light that's like, you know, eldritch and saving him and all these other things? Or is this just the way that the monster hunts things? Is it tricking them? Is it luring them in? Is it because obviously we know it's hunting on a larger scale than just in the blood ocean because all the stars went out, right? Is this its way of like
Wait,
slowly
you
eating
think that the
away at the
monster
mental.
you think the monster did the star thing?
Well, no, so the monster at least that's what the first submarine says, and that's what it's like. It says it doesn't. It says that they were responsible for part of it.
What they found
Part
is
of the.
responsible for part of it.
Yeah, which is the light, not the monster. But I think that the
Yeah.
monster and the light are the same thing. So
Okay, I disagree.
they're all part
I
of
also
this.
disagree that the monster is, like you said, using the voices to communicate with him. So the way I interpreted that, and I think this is a cool thing about the movie, it's not clear. Like, honestly, this everything that he put in the movie is more than they give you in the game. Um, like, and I like that there's room for interpretation and different understandings of what happened. Um, the way I understood it, whatever happened to the people in that submarine, they aren't there anymore. Did they become the monster? Did they just get absorbed into whatever that light was, whatever the fucked up blood is? Um, did they just get eaten? Who fucking knows? But whatever whatever Simon experienced, you know what I mean. Whatever he experienced, that was
Right.
something. Like they were saying, like some god or something looking through like a pinhole into reality. Um
Right.
like
My
and
understanding though is that because the monster, like they were talking about it like God and this like looking through a pinhole, right? Is the monster not an extension of that? Like if we can only imagine like if we're ants and you see a finger, right? Like you can't fathom the rest of it that's connected to it. Is the monster not just the part
I
of
thought of it
the light that
as
we can see?
I thought that the light was whatever we could see, and the monster is what happened to those people when they died. The sub like whatever happened, the sub blew open. Those people are gone. I don't know how many of them there were. Like one of them was fucking drinking the blood, apparently, according to the recording. Um,
At
but
least two people. There were at least two
yeah, at
people.
least two. Um, whatever. I mean, like you see what's starting to happen to Simon once he comes in contact with the blood, right? Um,
Right. Well, so
the
they
way
talk about in the audio recording synthesizing it as food and eating
yeah,
it.
so what I what I interpreted happened to the people in the other sub was that whatever happened and they died, and obviously they made contact with the blood. Um, whatever this blood is being affected in some unnatural way by whatever is causing the light itself, whatever is, interacting with our reality at this point and is being viewed as light, whatever. And they, in some way, as a result of what they witnessed, became the monster. Like, because that blood was like becoming, like blood vessels and like arteries and veins, and like it started looking meaty in there. And like
Yeah, it did.
it was like warping him. It was like he was
It
starting to
was like
look like
consuming him.
he was starting to look like a
Yeah.
bloody version of one of those guys on Davy Jones's ship from Pirates of the Caribbean. Like he was getting
Yeah,
real
like
fucked
like an
up.
Eldritch Blood horror version of
Yeah,
the
yeah. Like
yeah.
I interpreted the monster as the people, like the crew of that submarine were warped and changed by both what they saw and contact with the blood. And the the
Interesting.
the the voices he was hearing were
We're still them,
were still
but as
well
the
were
monster.
still them, but like because the lines that the monster or the voices were saying, it was a lot of like, you have to see this, you're going to join us in one way or another, like kind of like we want to bring you down, not like bring you down to our level, but like if we had to
Join the
experience
cult.
this, you're going to experience this too. And either we will consume you as a result of it, or you'll be like absorbed, you'll be one of us, you'll something like that, you know? Um
Right.
like
Well, I definitely think that the machine that the ocean was of blood was turning the submarine into a machine because we see the or not a machine, into a living organism because we see the oxygen go back up, right? So it's breathing
when did the
somehow.
oxygen go back up?
When he goes back to get the black box, it goes up one.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it was down at one, and at one point it goes up to two.
I didn't notice
And
or
it,
remember that.
yeah, I there is a point. It's I'm pretty sure, and I can't remember exactly because I wasn't like in there taking notes, but I'm pretty sure that it was after he's found again, right? After he disappeared for days or whatever, and he was on one oxygen for days, which doesn't make sense, which means that the machine, or in this case the organism, is replenishing his oxygen. But then at one point when
He
he
thought he
goes
was
back, it
gone
goes
for
up to two.
days. He thought he was gone for days. The people, like the normal humans in the whatever dropped him down there, didn't say that he was gone for days.
Yeah, they did. She literally in the dialogue goes, "You've been gone for 4 days. We thought you were
Huh.
dead." Yeah. So at that point, I was made aware that
No,
something in
no,
the ocean is keeping him
I remember what I
purpose.
thought about that. I thought that when he came back and was like, um, when he was like, "What's my name?" like, I viewed that as like some weird ass reset that happened to him because of interacting with whatever that was. Because when that happened, he was fine. Everything, like the sub was like not, you know, a mess. It was like kind of normalish. Like I kind
Right.
of
I
viewed
took
that
that
as
as
whatever
the
he
light.
interacted with put him back there in a normalish situation.
Right. That's what interpreted that as well. But then when the radio comes on, she's like, "You've been gone for 4 days." So my interpretation was that the sub or whatever, like the light, was keeping him alive, and then goes, "Okay, well, we're gonna put you back here." Like, um,
I don't
because he didn't have enough oxygen to survive for four
see. I
days.
don't
So it
think
must have done
I don't think
something,
the fact that it was 4 days
like time
matters
travel
to
or
the
something.
light or to Simon. Whatever
I
happened,
don't think it
like
does either.
reality and time warped there.
But there's
It doesn't matter that he was running out of oxygen. Like whatever happened, he's there now. Like fucking reality folded together, and he just moved from like one edge of the
yeah,
fold to the other. Also, I'm going to argue you
which
about.
is also how I kind of interpreted it
Mhm.
until the oxygen went back up.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to
So
argue you about
I
the
know that the
sub
oxygen
becoming
went back up.
like some sort of living thing. Because if that was a thing, why didn't the other sub become some sort of living thing? Why is that just wreckage down there?
I mean, something is interfering with the machinery in it. Maybe it's not becoming an organism,
I don't.
but
I think it's just a
it's
bad piece of
something is
machinery.
interfering.
A bad piece of machinery, and this monster is like buffeting it around underwater, under a lot of pressure, and underwater, under blood.
I think I think there's definitely something affecting the beyond just the poor machinery because the oxygen that I wouldn't say that if there wasn't a specific scene where he's looking at the oxygen and watches it go back up. Like, or not, he's not looking at it. We're looking at him and he's doing something, and behind him, we see the oxygen go back up to two. So, I
When
I
did
don't know
when did
exactly.
that
I'm gonna go see
happen?
the
What was
movie again.
happening when you
I'll
noticed
have probably
that?
more thoughts.
Was that when he was arguing with the voices?
No,
When was it then?
it was before that. It was in between.
But was it during
I
the
don't
time he
remember
was
the
talking to the
specific. I wasn't in there
voices?
taking notes.
Was it when he was talking to the voices, like during the time where they were talking to him for the first like
It was
window of time?
No, it was after he got found again, but before he started talking to them once he realized that the voices were the monster.
Hmm.
It was in between that. Um,
Okay, regardless, I want to see the movie again, but
it
also
might
I
have
need to
been
see the movie again now to check this.
it might have been after the commander general, whatever she is,
The captain of that
was
ship.
telling him to retrieve the black box.
Hmm.
Um, because there's a scene where she's like, "You have to do this, you have to do this," and then she gets like killed. Um, but it might
She
have
don't
been
get killed.
in that time frame. Her radio gets cut off. It's implied that she's under the water because
No,
she went to get
she's
him.
not. Whatever they are,
Bryn,
they're
what part
a
of the movie are you talking about? I'm talking about the actual person that sent him down there who doesn't know his name.
yeah, she's not underwater. They are above in some capacity because they dropped him in.
Right. And then when she tells him to go retrieve the black box, and she says, "I'll get you myself, be back here in 30 minutes." He gets back there. She says, I need you to do something. I need you to get the black box, blah 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 blah. She's clearly by herself, no longer with anybody else. And the radio just like you hear like a screeching crunching sound when it gets cut off, which I guess you could attribute to the flaw of the fact that it's a shitty old radio, but
It's a
I
shitty old radio.
was
He's
under the
under,
impression
like, he's
that
in caves. Like,
the way
blood.
that I interpreted it was that she had gone down to get him because that's what she said she was going to do, and the monster ate her because it didn't want her to get the light.
I understand why you might think that, but why the fuck would she voluntarily go into that? Like, they're
She said
putting.
she was going to go get him so that she could get the black box.
Yeah, she's gonna tow the sub back up.
There's no line, so they have to send
Yeah,
another
there
sub down
is.
to grab him.
No, they don't have another sub. Where are you
No,
getting
they
this?
literally say the line is cut. I have to cut the line. There's no line when he gets dragged away. So there's no line on his sub anymore. They can't tow it. And I know this because I know about deep sea diving. Don't ask me why. But I like James Cameron. They have to
Yeah.
send some other kind of dive down, some other kind of vehicle down to find him to get it.
They're not sending
There's no way to pull
anybody
him back
else
up
down
otherwise.
because they weren't going to send anybody to fucking rescue him.
But that's what she says in the clip. She says, "I'll go down and get you myself." Literally word for word.
Yes, I know that's the line she says, but she is not entering the blood. There's no way in hell she's entering the blood. The reason they're sending
That
convicts
was the
down
way
there
I
is because
interpreted
they're
it.
not going to lose anybody. Do you really think they're going to send the captain of a ship? Do you really think anybody else is
Well,
going to let the captain of the ship go down? And then if the captain of the
I
ship
mean,
does go down, who's like shining a flashlight on the life jacket around the black box at the end? Why would her crew
the other
stick
guy.
around? Why would they stick around?
Because they didn't go into the ocean. They were on the space station or whatever.
Why
That was the
would
way
why
I
would they
understood
stay
it.
on this moon to see what happens? If they hear
Because
her
they
get
all
cut
want
off and assume she's dead, why would they stay?
because they want
Okay.
humanity to survive. That's the
I'm gonna
impression
argue
I
it from
got.
I'm gonna argue it from another angle. In what way do you think she's going down there? What do you think she's like, like putting on a swimsuit and diving in?
Well, no, they have clearly lied to him about everything, about how much technology they have, how many people have gone down there, how many subs there are. I was under the impression that they had more than they were letting on. And she said they're not,
And if they've already lost two, why would they let anybody
oh,
else
they've
go?
lost more than two.
Okay. The Somebody was in his sub before him. If anything, they retrieve his one sub, assuming it's retrievable.
Right,
Why
but
do
the
you
way
think
that
there's
you
more
have to
than this
retrieve a
one
sub,
sub?
I don't know, that's just the vibe and the way that the movie for me staged the information as such that they are lying about the technology and things that they have.
They're not lying about
They're
technology.
lying
Like,
about this,
okay. Do
the
you
materials and the
remember
skills.
what the Quiet Rapture was? Everything is gone.
Yeah,
They only have what is in
no,
space stations and ships. They can't
right.
make more
So
subs. It's only what they have left. And do you really think they're going to risk anything else?
I don't think that they want to. I think that I mean, that's what the argument between the captain and her lieutenant is, where he's like, you can't go down there, you can't go down there, we're not allowed, that's against orders.
Okay, so when he was saying you can't go down there, I was interpreting that as you can't pilot the ship back down to above this ocean to try to pick him up out of the water, out of the blood. Because, like, they don't just stay hovering above the surface of the blood the whole time he's down there once he's been cut off. Like, they're not going to stay that close to that. They don't know what effects it has on, like, any sort of tissue. And if they've lost people
Well,
down there before, they know to some capacity what effect the blood has, even. Like,
they have the science behind the way that they described the submarine, they would have to be hovering over it until the line got cut.
exactly, once the line was cut, they're not going to stay there. If something is going to cut the line and drag him away, why would they stay that close?
Well, no, I don't think they're staying that close, but I was under the I don't this is just the way I interpreted it. Also because of her last dialogue telling him to get the black box, that she was near enough that the monster ate her. Whether she was in a ship hovering above it or
So
otherwise.
if they're lying about the amount of subs they have, why I feel like that was just hyperbole. Saying anything to get him to get this thing to somewhere that's easier to get. Like they thought this
I mean,
black
that's
box was
also
lost to the
possible.
void. Like any progress he makes in getting it back to them, who cares if he dies? It's still closer.
Well, so the other thing, why would she cut her own radio off and do all of that when
I don't think
compelling
she
him to
cut
get the
her
black
radio
box?
off. I think that like he punched that radio box. The monster has buffeted him around. He's bumped into walls and shit. Like the pressure of whatever's down there.
There was a crunching screech.
Okay, the monster took a bite. He bumped into a wall and like something got knocked off. Also, radios make a lot of crunching screeches.
I think she died.
Also,
That was how I interpreted
also,
it.
also, he was in a cave. The whole problem with him not being able to communicate a lot of the time, before he did a punch, was that there's
Well, he got out of
rock
the
in the
cave.
way.
Right, he got out of the cave by going through a tunnel. I remember that.
He didn't get
I
fully
remember
out.
that.
He got out enough that the signal would travel.
I thought that he was out of the cave and back where he was before, because that's how he found that other sub.
Not fully out. Like, he did a big loop, and he was back
How do
at
you
where
know
the
he
points of
wasn't
the loop
fully
meet.
out?
But, well, because I've seen the map of Iron Lung, and I remember generally what it's like. The way I understand the map of Iron Lung and, like, the locations he's going to, it's like...
See, but you're coming... Here's the thing. You're coming at this with prior knowledge of the game. If I'm coming at this with no prior knowledge of the game...
What I meant was, like, because I remember what the map looks like, and also I've seen it before only the few shots in this movie. Like, the map that the physical map that he has looks just like the map from the game. Like, the points on the map that he visits, like, those are caves. Like caves, or like almost fully enclosed caves.
Right, but the movie is vague enough, and for those of us who don't know the maps that well, and it doesn't really ever show us the map that well, like, I think
So
that
when
that's
he got
kind of
lost and
up
went
to
off the top right
interpretation.
corner of the map, like, you see a lot of the shots of the very narrow cave walls, right?
Well,
Like,
that was definitely a cave.
yeah, that
Right, but I think that when I watched it and he went down that tunnel and it slopes up, my understanding was that he had gotten out of the cave. That was the way that the visuals of it presented it
so
to my own
to
eyes.
me, that slope up is like the radio only reaches a certain depth, and now that he's able to go a little bit back up, the radio connects again. That screech could be
Well, if he
depth,
was in
that
a cave,
screech
there
could
was
be...
no hope for them to get him out with a line no matter what. There
Well,
was
yeah,
no way
but
to send a line.
if he's
They
in a
would have
cave,
had
it's
to
not
have sent
about
a
a...
sub. So your own argument counteracts your other
No,
argument.
no, it doesn't. My point about the caves is the radio communication, not a line for a sub. I'm still arguing with you about what the
Right,
crunch
but
screech was.
I guess so. For the your argument for the captain is that she was never going down to get him in the first place, ever.
Definitely not going into the blood to do anything about it. Like, if anything, like, I don't know, a salvage claw, a long rope, like, I don't know, a harpoon gun
Well,
into the top of the
if
sub.
he didn't ever get out of the cave, that never would have happened anyways.
Right, but the...
So but at one point he goes, if I go to this point, you'll be there to get me. And she goes, yes, we can drop that down to this point to get you. So he had to have been out of the cave.
She's saying we can drop that to get you when you get there. Because she gives him coordinates to go to where they can pick him up.
Right, and he says when he's talking to her, he says, this is where I'm at. And she goes, okay, can you get back there in 30 minutes? Same place he's already at. Same coordinates.
Back there... But then she gives him different coordinates to go to be picked up.
He literally says the coordinates, and she gives him... No, she doesn't. They're like, it's like off by like, maybe like 100 meters or something.
Nuh-uh.
I'm pretty sure it's almost exactly the same coordinates. It's like...
Okay, so here's what needs to happen.
He
We
says,
need to
this
go
is where
see
I'm
the
at. She
movie
goes,
again.
okay, can you get back?
We need to see the movie again.
Take notes?
Fucking take... Like, genuinely, I am going to take, like, physical paper and pen notes in the goddamn movie theater and take notes about this shit.
I mean,
Anyway,
go for it.
I think how passionately that we're arguing about this shows that this was a good fucking movie.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about in regards to the movie that I haven't talked about yet, besides the fact that we went on a huge debate about what happened, I do like that, like you said, it's kind of open to interpretation. We could both be right because it's vague, right?
And
it's
also,
not ever implied how she's going to get him. They don't ever explicitly say.
Mm-hmm. On the off chance any of our dear listeners are concerned that we're angry at each other, no, we're having fun.
This is how we talk.
Yeah.
But I love the way that the movie was kind of vague about things like that, and the
Hmm.
audience who played the game could have certain ideas about how this, like if you played the game and you know that this is the map, okay, he's in a cave. I've never played the game, he's not in a cave, right? That I love that about it. I think it allows for a very unique and personal viewing experience for everyone who goes to see the movie. My one concern about the movie, and this isn't a criticism of the movie, it's a
Hmm.
concern about people, not the film
Yeah.
itself, is that there is so much not said
Hmm.
that you as the audience member has to interpret and come to your own conclusions about, that
Mm.
I fear that people will think that it is boring. Um
Yeah, media
because
literacy
people
these
don't
days is pretty rough.
yeah, people don't like to think about movies they're in. They don't want to they want everything to be spoon-fed to them a lot of times, which is why movies are the way that they are now. And having
Hmm.
a movie that is this kind of ambiguous with everything, I feel like is the only thing that it has as a detriment, which isn't even a detriment, really. It's just an unfortunate
It's just
um,
kids these days, you know?
circumstance that and this, yeah, and I really was noticing that when I was reading reviews and stuff about it, and people were like, "Well, I fell asleep because no one was telling, I didn't know what was going on," and I was like, "Were you not paying attention? Like, you don't have to like have all the information to go and come to your own conclusions about this. Like, you should be able to think this through, just like the the debate we were just having. Um,
Uh-huh.
well, I thought it was going to happen this way, and I thought it was going to happen this way. However, the conclusion you come to could be the right conclusion because the movie never explicitly states. And so it doesn't matter necessarily what is right or what is wrong. It's how you as an audience member are interpreting it. And if you're not thinking hard about it, then it's going to feel like a nothing burger. It's not, but it's going to feel like that. And so I am concerned that it's not going to get as good reception because of that, because people are media illiterate. And I've seen so many tweets and stuff that people are like, I just thought it was boring. And I was like, it is the least boring movie I have seen in a long time. Well, that and the Korean movie that I saw a couple weeks ago. But like this is, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time because I was like, what is he gonna do? How is he gonna move on from this? And I never really had any kind of hope that he would survive because they welded him into that sub, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I I you still want to root for him, right? And you still want to
Oh
think that
yeah,
maybe there's a way out,
absolutely.
and you want to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, And there was something else I want to talk about. Oh, the other thing that everyone's talking about in the reviews that I actually, and I said this to you when we were talking about it, and I hadn't seen it yet, but you had, that
Hmm.
everyone has been saying is that it was 30 minutes too long, and I have zero idea where they could have cut 30 minutes out of that movie.
Honestly, kind of same. Like there are like if they really were desperate to cut 30 minutes, there are spots where you didn't need to see him scribbling on the map. You didn't need to see him running back and forth to the camera. Like you didn't need to see him navigating the narrow tunnels and all that. Or I don't know, if they really hated the am I going insane debates with the voices through the radio that was unplugged. Like could have. Or if they just really didn't want the world building and exposition at the beginning, like could have missed it, but
I
I don't know.
really,
I think
like, I guess if you wanted to change the pacing of the film, you could
mhm.
do that, but I really think that, and I was talking about this earlier with someone else. I really feel like if you take those things out, you lose not only the fact that he feels like he's been down there for days and days and days, right?
Mhm.
Even if it hasn't been like that, it's creating a sense of time for the audience.
Yeah.
And also the sense of claustrophobia of, okay, he's doing the same thing over and over again. This is like stressing me out, right? Watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh and the same type, and cutting out any of his like dialogue with the voices, any of the flashbacks, I feel like does a disservice to the character building, which is how I think it
Yeah.
differs a little bit from necessarily a video game. As a video game, you're playing as Simon, you don't have to know that much about him,
In the
right?
video game,
Because
you're a
you
nameless
want to survive because
convict.
you are Simon.
Well, in the video game, you're a nameless convict. You don't get
Right.
backstory. It's just you're in here now.
Right, but on the way that that doesn't work in a movie is that if you're not actively doing the things, you're not going to
Yeah, yeah,
care,
yeah.
right? We have to have something built into this character that goes, okay, well, we want to root for him beyond just we are playing as him, right? Because you're not playing in the game, in the movie. So
Yeah,
building in his
exactly.
backstory and the stuff about Eden and all these other things is essential for character building for the film. And I was like seeing reviews of people that were like, well, in the game you don't have a backstory. I think this is unnecessary. And I'm like, that's because you've played the game. If you go into that movie and you don't know anything about the convict and it's just convict number 10 or whatever,
Hmm.
you don't care if he dies. Like,
Well,
I mean, you might by the end of it, but this is really important for making him likable.
yeah. And like, this is something that kind of relates to something else that we did want to talk about, but honestly, we've yapped so long about Iron Lung, I don't think we're gonna have time to talk about it this episode. But like in the Fallout show, um, it's very different than what the playing of the game is like, because the action of playing in the game is a lot of like wandering around looting or like kind of actiony first person combat scenes. And like if all of the show was just a bunch of actiony first combat scenes and then some interactions between characters, that'd make a really shitty show, or at least a very different kind of show. That definitely isn't as good and impactful as the Fallout show is.
Yeah.
Um, and like in in the Fallout show, they have to have characters you're following, and it's not just the the player or viewer's self-insert, right? um Somebody has to be doing these things and making these decisions and moving the story forward. So like there's a difference between what playing a game is like where you're the one controlling something versus it as a story on a screen where somebody has to be doing the thing, like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie wasn't going to be POV you're sitting in a chair
Right.
for like 6 hours 7 days in a row. Like it has to be something more.
That would be uh pretty boring,
That's
honestly,
just
if
a
it was 5 nights of sitting in the security chair.
that's just a VR experience or a real life job.
Yeah, that's just unfortunately the life of a desk job.
Mhm.
No, and I think my mom, when she was talking about it, said that she's like, "Oh, I felt like a game." She goes, "It wasn't in a bad way, but it felt about Iron Lung." She's like, "It felt like a game in like a good way, where the repetition of the actions reminds you that this is a video game, but not in such a
Mhm.
way that it's detracting from the story," which I think is important because
Yeah.
when one of my problems with Five Nights at Freddy's is that there was almost nothing in it that mimicked the gameplay,
Mhm.
right? Like, this doesn't call back to the scenes in Five Nights at Freddy's that did call back to the gameplay were some of the best scenes in the movie, right?
Yeah,
Because what you
everybody
want
loves
to,
the why the
in
fuck
my
aren't there
opinion,
doors in
and
this pizzeria?
right, but my ideal video game adaptation is something where you go, okay, this feels kind of like I'm playing, but not, I don't have to be as active of a participant, right?
Mhm.
Like, you still want the engagement that comes from this used to be a video game where you were an active role in this. It
Yeah.
should feel kind of like you have an active role in this.
Or
And
like
so
like
that's
what
one
they're
of the
doing
reasons I
right
think,
now is exactly something that I did or can do in the game. Like, hey, that's this weapon that we all know because everybody gets that weapon and they're using it. That's so cool. Or like in the sub, like,
right, like in
hey, you have to
Fallout when they
push
get
the
the
button to take the
armor
camera.
or
Or, yeah.
the guns.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I love that about like the way that Iron Lung did adapt it. So like,
Mhm.
does it make sense that the camera is on the other side of the submarine? No. Is that a game mechanic? Absolutely. Like, I think that's exactly the kind of thing that that it benefits from.
See, no,
And what
that I
makes it a
feel like I
good
could argue with you
game
on, but also we've
adaptation.
argued a lot already. I could,
But I also
honestly, I
think
could argue with you
it
about
could
pretty
be
much
like that.
anything.
It could be that that they just didn't have the technology, but I also think that that's why it works. It's both a game mechanic
Okay, so
and it's plausible in universe,
where do you
right?
think the screen for the camera would go if not on one of the walls?
I think if you were actually in a submarine, there wouldn't be a screen for a camera. That's my opinion, but that's definitely a game mechanic. Like,
Okay, but
you
if the
have to see
purpose
the
of being
pictures.
in the
That's part
sub
of
is to
playing,
take
but that's also part
pictures,
of building the environment.
if the point of being in the sub is to take pictures, how are you going to know if the pictures were good? You're not going to wait till you go back up.
That's usually what they do in deep sea diving. They don't have.
I would assume usually what they do in deep sea
They
diving
take
is
a
also they
fuck
have,
ton of pictures.
well, yeah, but also they have like cameras of the outside of the sub that they can probably see to make sure they're not bumping into anything, right?
Yes and no, it depends on the submarine. Most submarines
But like as
don't
a
have a
concept, that's
closed
something that they have, right?
hatch like that. Yes, if you're not going that deep. Cameras will shatter under high pressure. So like the high pressure submarine, which is what this is, right?
Yeah.
I love James Cameron, okay? He does a lot of deep sea diving. He did the
We
deepest deep sea dive that
know.
has ever been recorded. There's no cameras on the front. There's no cameras on the front of that submarine because they crack under the pressure, but it does have a very small window. The window behind the 10 panes of glass or whatever that they have in order to keep it from cracking, that's like the size of like a pair of binoculars or something, has a camera in it that takes pictures as they go. There's still no real way to navigate. They use like what they use is basically what he was using, which is like a proximity alert thing.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a camera, it's usually using like sonar or something else that says this is near you, turn, this is near you, turn. But they also don't move around the way he was moving, so I don't know exactly. Like they don't have
Can I be
engines and stuff that
super
propel
honest
them
with
forward
you?
in certain directions. Yeah.
I was only asking where you thought the screen would go because I was hoping you would say right in front of his little seat, so then I could come back with the fact that the porthole was right in front of his little seat. I was trying to set you up and I fucked up.
You way underestimated my knowledge of deep sea submarines.
I activated your special interest trap card.
But yeah, I genuinely like the way they designed it. I like the way that the
Yeah.
sub was designed. I don't think that it's realistic. I don't think it's necessarily plausible, but I think it works great for the type of movie that they're trying to create and the
Yeah.
atmosphere that the whole thing is going for. And I love the radiation camera is also not scientifically accurate because if you take an X-ray, you have to be completely still. So obviously you couldn't be taking X-rays of things that were moving. But like I
Hmm.
like that as a concept. I like that it creates this like, oh, the monster was there the whole time. It wasn't even a skeleton type of thing. Um, I
Man, I feel dumb for
love
not realizing
that
that when I saw the movie at
like
first.
world building. I'm surprised you didn't realize that when you played the game. um,
Well, so in the game, it's never
I don't
mentioned
know
that it's
anything
a
about the
fucking
game, but I
X-ray.
feel like that was in the game.
It's never mentioned that it's an X-ray or whatever. Also,
Oh,
the shots that you see of anything outside of the sub, like a creature, um, that skeletal that skull that I, if I remember right, and I could be wrong, but if I remember right, that type of skull shape is not around in the game. The design of the monster, aside from,
interesting.
large mouth with teeth, wasn't really in the game. There's a point in the game where you see like a
Interesting.
big old
So in the
eye,
game,
like a actually, yeah, in the game I don't think it could have been an X-ray camera because you see an eye. You see like a
in
big old
the
fish
movie, they
eye.
have like an it kind of looks like an eye, but I think it's supposed to be something else.
Yeah.
There's like a scene where he takes a shot and it looks like a big eye. I don't know. I think I like I said I don't know about the game, but if that is a change that they made from the game, I like that as a change.
Yeah, I
I
mean
think
I
that's
think
provides interesting.
they changed it from the game, I think, to kind of give context as to why the fuck does the camera look like this?
Yeah. But I also think it creates interesting I don't want to say conversation because it's not necessarily a conversation, but like thinking about around it, like
Hmm.
why was it like that, and then like how does this impact the way that the universe is working.
Yeah.
And I also, in the game, does your character get turned into the blood monster?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely not. So in the game, the way like the game ends by um actually, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you because I'm gonna make you play it. Like it's less than an hour long experience.
ugh. Okay, but I'm curious because I don't know. In my brain, I was like, I feel like in the game you can survive, but maybe you can't. I don't know. Um,
Oh no, like I
and
will say this: the way the game ends, you're not surviving at all. Like not at all. You are conclusively dead.
well, so I was okay. Well, because I was wondering if in the game, when in the movie, the monster bites into the sub and you can see all of its teeth come through, right?
Hmm.
And I was wondering if that was also something that happens in the game, or if that's just a cool, fun thing they added for the movie. Because I loved that he was banging and breaking the teeth off of it.
Breaking the
And there's
teeth.
just silence. There's a scene where it bites the sub, and you can see all the teeth go and like slide in. And there's blood pouring in all the like there's blood everywhere. Um, but and he doesn't break multiple teeth. He breaks a tooth. He like is hitting it with I think the fire extinguisher. And he breaks the tooth off, and then he's like
So I
trying to
didn't think
I don't know what
those
he
were
was trying to do
teeth.
at that point.
I didn't think those were teeth. The way I viewed that, I mean like it was, things were rattling around, blood was spurting in everywhere. Um the way I viewed that was those were like fleshy growths coming from the blood. And what I thought he was doing was
Not
like trying to cut away at
I
them.
think we're thinking of different things.
We could be. A lot
That
happens then.
one of them Yeah, there's a lot going on in that moment. There's definitely one of them. It could be like a growth and it's like a bone, but it's definitely not fleshy. It's hard. And he's like it breaks off and has like a jagged edge. And I remember thinking that because I was like, is that a tooth or is it just
I swear to
something
God, if I
protruding
blinked at the
from the
worst point.
I'm so curious. You should go see it again because I would love
I mean,
not
you're
necessarily
gonna
on
see it again,
podcast. I feel
right?
like we've kind of covered everything.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
I
no, no,
would
no.
love
Don't
to
you say we're
talk
we're
more
taking
about
this
what
off the
expected of
podcast at
you.
this point. I'm going to see it again, and we're going to continue this argument, and I'm not letting this go. I am either going to be proven wrong or win.
All right. Well, next week when we can have our first 10 minutes of
Like,
who was
like,
right about
look,
Iron Lung.
look.
I have a pretty
Okay,
good memory though, so for things like that.
I don't know about that. Your memory is very questionable in other areas. Um, what I was gonna say was, you remember
Oh yeah,
a
I have a
certain misspeak and forgetting of a word. Um, you know I'm not gonna let this shit go.
Yeah, but last week you also accused me of spoiling Fallout and I didn't. So I don't trust you.
Okay,
I
okay,
went back and
okay.
rewatched the episode to make sure.
So what you proved me wrong about was you using a specific word. You were right in that you didn't use a specific word. I do think you still lightly spoiled Fallout.
If they had not seen the first season and it has been 2 years and they did not already have that spoiled, then I am sorry, but they probably should not have been listening to our podcast about the episodes about the show in the first place.
I
If
I'm
they are
inclined
that
to agree
concerned
with
about
that, but
that,
I'm inclined to agree with that, but that's not what we were arguing about. I'm talking about what we were arguing about. And what we were arguing
well,
about, I was fucking right
I am
about.
50% right, at least.
I I
At
will
least
I
50% you're right,
I
and you're
will
50%
agree
right.
that you were right that you did not use that word. You did not say the specific word I was saying you did.
Audience, listeners, I'm so curious if you can even figure out what the word was. Since we're beating around, we're talking about it like it's like
I said
Voldemort's name or something.
I said that she said that somebody was a villain. I thought you called him a villain. You did not use the word villain. You did say other things.
I said he was creepy.
You said that he did bad things.
Everyone in Fallout does bad things. Everyone.
Highly disagree. Also, you said that he did bad things, and until literally the end of the season, the end of the first season, it is not revealed until then what this person is like.
That's fair.
That's the silence of somebody who knows they're wrong.
I'm not wrong about Iron Lung, though. I know that the oxygen thing.
Dear listeners, we do love each other. We are friends. But also, I am the god of semantics and particularities. I will find a way to make sure that what I said. I'm very particular about my words. If I say something, when I say something I don't intend, I admit it and will concede those points.
I'm getting you a shirt that has your Highland cow on it, and it says under it in big bold letters, God of Semantics, and no other context. Just the cow and God of Semantics.
Hell yeah.
And then we can sell that merchandise.
We sell that as my shirt. Your shirt is Bone Collection.
And it's a snail, which has no bones, so the irony.
You didn't have any of your own, so you had to start collecting.
We're both gonna go see Iron Lung again.
God, I hope
so we'll definitely talk about this more if you want to hear.
Out.
It's not sold out here, and they AMC and Regal Theaters, which I don't know what you have where you live, but that's what we have where I live. Is showing it all through next Friday.
I know we have AMC. I don't know if they have Regal here. That's something.
I know AMC is showing it because that's where I go see movies. It might be expensive there because they're kind of overpriced, but I know AMC is showing it, and they're showing it all the way through next Thursday, so you should be Gucci. My weekend showings didn't have any seats sold, but my Friday night showings, whoo, boy, I went to go book the tickets again today, and it was like, there were seats, but it was like all on the side and in the front row, and I was like, no, I'm not sitting there.
What, you don't want to be immersed in the blood sea?
That's not necessarily the issue, it's that I have neck pain and I don't want to look up at the movie for 2 hours.
But you'd be really immersed in the feelings of him getting thrown around and like landing on his head and shit. Sympathy, neck pain.
Oh boy,
the immersion.
Absolutely. Sympathy, neck pain. Yeah, I loved Iron Lung. That's my final say. I think
kicked ass.
If you haven't seen it yet, you should go see, and you're not. Yeah, if you've already seen it, you should go see it again, because I think, like we were just talking about, you'll notice things probably the second time that you didn't notice the first. I'm sure I'm gonna notice things the second time that I didn't notice the first. There's just so many little things happening and so many little bits going on, especially with like the pictures and the sound design and stuff. Is great. So 10 out of 10 for Iron Lung. Probably the best horror movie I've seen in a long time.
So goddamn good.
Since I watched Jordan Peele's Nope. Is probably my favorite. It's probably my top 10.
Last thing before I forget, I was so impressed with the CG that they did. Like,
oh my gosh, that was the other thing I talked about. I was like, I can't believe that this film had a $2 million budget. That was crazy.
Like the one scene, you know the scene we're talking about. Like, I'm so goddamn impressed.
Oh, yeah.
That looked incredible. Like that like I've seen Marvel movies with worse scenes than that.
Oh, I agree. I could not believe that, like, could not believe that they did all of that with such a small amount of money. Like, I was like telling my mom, I was like, well, it's not Avatar, but like, nobody is Avatar, and
Yeah.
I honestly think that it partially it's to the benefit that it's dark in there and that they're not like, you know, they're
Hmm.
not they're not like trying to make it look crisp and shiny and sunny and stuff, right? So if it's a little
Yeah.
bit gritty, it's better. But I also think that the CGI and the special effects in it reminded me so much of like Lord of the Rings, like old
Yeah.
practical CG special effects where it's like practical effects mixed with a little bit of CG so it feels really authentic. And
Hmm.
I loved that. I loved that the blood was authentic, the blood felt authentic, the all of the makeup was authentic.
I
I
mean,
know in the
hey,
game
that
you don't see the commander, but like when she shows up and she has that big scar on her eye, like that was so good. All
mhm.
of it was so good. The when he got irradiated and like the radiation burns on his face, the like technician guy who was doing the soldering, like all of that was also really well done. Like
I
and it's
think it
not
was
like the
welding.
special effects
Soldering is
makeup
a
is
little
always
bit
like that
smaller.
expensive. You are correct. I in my mind it's all melting metal.
But
I know
soldering
it's
is the
not
kind of thing you do on
like
like
anyone who does
circuit
any of that.
boards.
Yeah, and you like melt metal and it like fuses it together. It's the micro version of welding. But
Yeah, which is why it's
anyways.
important that it was welded and not, a little bit of a little bit of that like shiny like smushy metal gets melted along the outside, kind of like a little drizzle of icing. Like
I
you
acknowledge
know
I
what?
was wrong. I
You
don't know
go
why I
to a
mixed those two
welder.
things up,
You
but
find a welder and tell them that soldering is the same thing as welding.
oh no, I would never say that. That's how I get my ass beat. Um,
Exactly.
but anyways, I think that the special effects was really well done.
Hmm.
Um, Especially the scenes where they had all the blood. And I've worked with a lot of fake blood before. I've worked in theater. I'm very familiar
That
with the
blood
fake
looked
blood
good.
machine.
I mean, I've never seen that much blood in one
Yeah.
place, outside of a body, but like that blood looked good.
Yeah. And it looked good and it also didn't like it looked like this was huge for me because I think about this a lot as someone who worked in theater. For the most part, it looked like they were actually using stage blood and not like cheaping out on the blood, which
Oh, dude.
as someone who's
Like
worked
hearing him talk
yeah, as
about the
someone who's worked in
production over
theater.
time, like they used quality fake blood.
Well, and that's what people don't understand from a like back end, like working in the industry perspective, is that that's so important for your safety. Like, and I'm not talking
Yeah.
about pig's blood. I mean, I'm talking about any kind of fake blood alternative because your like your skin, what you don't realize a lot of times is porous, and if you're submerging a whole person in that, it needs to be safe to
Mm-hmm.
basically eat it. Like, because that's what your body's gonna do with it. Um, and so like I have mad respect for Mark as a person, but in this especially, I'm so glad that like because I know so many budget horror films are like, well, we're just gonna use corn syrup and food coloring and chocolate sauce, and I'm like, no, like that's not like yeah, technically that's
Yeah.
edible, but like that causes other problems where when it dries it's so sticky it will peel your skin off and like things like using the correct materials, especially when it comes to fake blood and people in contact with fake blood that's not just like The Shining where it's no one's there, right? And it's pouring out of the elevator is so important, and I'm so glad that they did that with this movie because I've had so many nightmare experiences both working in it and with actors who have come back and they've pulled their bloody shirt off and it takes like a layer of their skin with that. And
Ugh,
like,
God.
yeah, like I've had, and he has like scenes where the blood is like in his eye and like things like that. Like, this is the fact
Every
that they were so careful
At
about
this
this is
point,
huge
everybody
to
knows
me
the
and that
picture
it's
of
making
Markiplier like staring
waves.
like a wet dog into the camera in like a hospital room with like crazy red eyes. You know how that happened.
Yeah. Um, which I mean, that's probably because he got splashed in the eye with blood like 85 times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that like that they were at least for the most part taking all the precautions that they could take to make it safe when doing that,
Yeah.
because that is not always the case. Um,
Oh
it
my
should
God.
always be the case, but it's not always the case.
Thinking of him talking about it during like the years he's been working on it, um, reminded me that during the process when they were actively filming, um, on his podcast with his friends, he was complaining a lot about like random like neck and back pain. And then seeing some of the shots in that goddamn movie, I fucking wonder why.
It's almost like he threw himself across a submarine and landed on a pipe like probably 30 times to get that
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, and like he did that shit himself. Like everybody knows Mark is
Right.
definitely
I
actually a
like
masochist and he's there to, see what his body can take. And he made sure his body took a beating.
well, I also kind of have a lot of respect for him for doing that himself and not subjecting some indie actor who's not going to get paid enough to be doing that as well. Like,
I mean,
that's.
he wouldn't
I'm
do
sure he
that.
wanted to act in the movie, but also. Right, but I also know that he wouldn't do that. And so, like,
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I'll stand on the hill I'll die on always is, even though I'm not some kind of mega Markiplier fan and I'm arguably a fake Markiplier fan, is that I do have utmost respect and admiration for Mark and all of the stuff that he has
Yeah.
done, and that I think he's done everything he puts his hands on is good. And so
Yeah.
I trust him as a creator. And I was telling my mom, I was like, look, and I'm not someone who's like the elite, the because he's not elite, but like the super famous, the like thing, we raise them up on these high platforms and stuff, and I'm like, but genuinely, I do think that Mark is someone to admire and look up to of all of the
Yeah.
famous YouTubers and other people, celebrities and stuff, right? So I'm glad that his movie is not only successful but also good. Um, and not that I doubted it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
nice to be reaffirmed, and
Yeah.
that he's done all of the correct things and making it and advertising it and stuff. And he's such a down to earth and pleasant
And
presence
also,
in our
speaking
current
of, if
social
anybody's
space.
watching this who doesn't like, who isn't also like either a fan of Mark or like followed what's been going on with Iron Lung, he's done like a pretty major blood drive associated with it, and like at different movie locations, like had one of those like mobile blood donation centers, like on the release day. Um, and even though like his major push for that
They
was
were there
like
last
last
weekend here
weekend.
in Atlanta.
Hell yeah. But yeah, like even though that major push
Yeah.
was last weekend, if if you care to and if you can, you should totally go do that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
give the blood movie your
Donate blood.
blood.
Give me your blood. Give the blood movie your blood. I also like he's just a very charitable person. He always does charity live
Yeah.
streams, raises tons of money. He's just genuinely such a light.
God, back in
So
like
yeah, even if you don't like horror, I do recommend Iron Lung, just for
absolutely.
the sake of supporting him and also
Go see
supporting
it.
indie
Go give it a
movies and
try. Yeah, support
yeah,
indie movies. Make Disney scared.
or Universal or any of these mega companies that
Well,
are
yeah, but like
making these
but Disney
garbage
was the one he was
movies.
going up against that like tried to get him taken off the charts before before it was actually totaled. Um and he kicked their
Wait, what
asses.
Disney movie is out right now?
I mean, Mark kept saying it was Disney. I'm pretty sure it was Send Help. Like Send Help was the one he was talking about, and it was always mentioned in the same sentence
I saw
Disney.
Send Help.
Yeah, from hearing you talk about Send Help, it was mid as hell. Does not deserve to be up there.
Uh, 20th Century Studios, which I guess is technically owned by Disney now. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't clock that it was Disney because at the beginning it doesn't say Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw Send Help, and it's also a horror movie. And I can confidently say that I enjoyed Iron Lung substantially more. Um,
Hmm.
for so many reasons. I'm not gonna go into why I didn't like Send Help, but so many reasons. I
Yeah.
see a lot of movies, so I can confidently say that Iron Lung is not only more enjoyable, but also just objectively a better film.
Yes. Yes. So yeah,
So,
if you also want to, spit in the face of Big Mouse and all that, support an indie movie. Give the blood movie your blood. Support an indie movie. Go see Iron Lung.
give give the blood movie your money and your blood.
Hmm.
uh, on that note, I think that's a great place to end the episode. We never
Yeah.
introduced ourselves, but that's okay. If you've listened to this long for some reason and you
I
still don't know
said
who we are,
at the
I'm
beginning of the
Alex.
episode, I said I have to unleash Alex. Like practically before we finished fading in, I have to unleash
Oh,
Alex. She's chewing at the walls of her enclosure. But also I'm Bryn. I'm here too.
I really wanted to talk about. Yeah. And this has been Politely Parasocial. We broadcast live on Twitch every Wednesday afternoon, evening, and the video recording of the episode goes up on Thursday at 3 p.m. on my YouTube channel, which is linked on the Twitch page. But also, if you're watching on YouTube, please follow us on Twitch. If you liked this episode and you have any, we have been taking audience requests, but no one actually listens. So, but if you have any thing that you want us to talk about or you think that we know about that you want us to talk about, feel free to leave a comment or just leave a comment telling us how much you wish that we hadn't spoiled the movie.
Speaking of comments,
And
on the off chance anything is funky with our audio, let us know in case there's something we can do about that. We were talking about audio before we started recording, um, and I fiddled with it a bit,
yeah,
and
so
hopefully it's
audio
a
is a
bit
little bit
better.
difficult.
Um, Alex told me that I should
Yeah,
probably try to be
because we can't
louder,
tell.
and goddamn, I definitely tried to be louder in this one. Not even tried. I was louder in this one. Hopefully I wasn't like blowing out your speakers. But I was yelling like less than an inch away from my mic this time. So, but it was worth it because I was
But
arguing
also
with Alex and I was right.
because we record on Twitch, we can't really tell what the audio situation is until we go live. And unfortunately, because of the way Twitch VODs get uploaded to YouTube, I can't do a lot about the audio once it's been recorded. So if there's something we can do preemptively,
Yeah.
feel free to leave a comment. Like if Bryn is really quiet or I'm super loud because I'm obnoxious and loud, or um, if like something is cutting out or something like
Well,
that.
if like a truck
Um,
just drove past Alex in the background and you could hear it while she was talking just now.
I can't help that I live right next to a highway. Sorry, guys. But
Hey, I do
anyways,
too.
if you like, I wish I could tell you how close I live to. I might as well be like I can walk to it
I've
within
shown
five
you
minutes.
where my address
Um,
is, right?
no,
We'll
but
talk
we're
about
not going
this
to talk
off
about
the
that because
air.
you're not going to dox yourself online. Um, but
We
anyways, if you
live in
liked the episode,
America
please give it
and
a
we're
thumbs up.
both
If you want to
next
see
to
more, please subscribe
highways.
to our
You'll
channel.
never find us.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.